Hey, there, paperback radio hosts. Can you tell us, where do you get all your ideas?
It's funny you ask that. We can sum it up in one word.
Plagiarize. Let no one else's work evade your eyes. Remember why the good Lord made your eyes, so don't shade your eyes, but plagiarize, plagiarize, plagiarize. Only be sure always to call it, please,
Inspiration!
Welcome to the Inspiration Chop Shop, where we take apart our favorite films, books, and anything else we darn well like, and steal every useful bit for our creative malfeasance. Let's see what's on the chop today.
What are you doing to the plants?
Ooh. Baby, it's not what it looks like.
Hello, welcome to the Inspiration Chop Shop, where we take apart our favorite films, books, media, whatever else we damn well want, and steal every piece of useful information for our own creative malfeasance.
To quote Homer, actually, it's just The Simpsons, we're thieves. We're dirty, rotten thieves.
And today we're going to be talking about my current obsession, Hazbin Hotel. Those are two different things. Hazbin Hotel is a very weird, very cool adult animated musical comedy. Technically, it's called a dark comedy, but I don't find it particularly dark.
I didn't realize that they're marketing this as a dark comedy.
It's a dark comedy, yeah, right? All the bright colors and the fancy, fun jazz hands and songs.
I'm going to bring that up when we get to the dissecting part, because that's interesting to me.
Yeah, it's by Vivienne Medrano, aka VivziePop. Hazbin Hotel started out, and I found this really interesting, as a Patreon-funded project in 2014. And about 5 years after that, she was able to launch the pilot episode, 2019. Amazon picks it up and streams it, so that the first season airs in January of 2024. It is still currently the largest global debut for a new animation series on Prime Video.
That's really cool.
Yes, and in February 2024, the pilot episode surpassed 100 million views on YouTube. So hopefully people have heard of this show before I go into my crazy Huskerdust fandom rant.
Well, I have a feeling at least one of the 100 million might take a peek.
Maybe.
And if anything, steal from people who are popular. I've always said, don't rob from people who don't got nothing to steal. That's
and you don't know if it's worth anything if they ain't got it.
That's right.
Anyway, I wanted to leave with all those stats about how cool it is because it's a fucking weird show. In one sentence, Lucifer's bisexual daughter, Charlie Morningstar, builds a hotel in hell to redeem sinners who are being killed by angels.
Demons are being killed by angels.
Yes, demons being killed by angels, bad in this show. Which is funny because I feel like every other piece of media, you could just kind of assume, yeah, we can slay demons. It's not even a problem. But in this one, it's bad. It's genocide.
It's no bueno.
Yes. I found this show, and I don't know how many others found the show this way. I found it because of the absolute banger of a song, Loser Baby, because I mentioned it's a musical. Immediately you start singing it. Lane has heard the song on repeat since August of last year.
Yeah.
I've listened to it roughly 10 million times today. And I really wanted to understand that tune in context, so I watched the whole season. And I watched it mostly on the dock of the bay in between pretending to be a pirate and a mermaid. So, fond memories.
It's a great time. It's a great time. And actually, I think the pirate show is a good context to watch this in.
Yeah, because it's got the same kind of lighthearted energy. We can't swear on the pirate show, but we definitely do the hugging and learning thing.
Yes, hugging and learning and adult humor, but we just have to be careful about it.
Yeah, because we do have an audience of children. This is not meant for children. It's meant for adults who are still children at heart.
We like to say that this is a Disney cartoon with cocaine vending machines.
Yay. Yeah. So I love the show because I love animation, I like comedy, I like dark comedy, I love queer shit, and I also like cats and spiders. But I remember being hesitant to share this with you because it's hope porn. We're probably going to talk about that in more depth afterward. But I've decided not to apologize about my enjoyment of the show because I love it. I love Disney, I love musicals, I love fictions that are over the top sentimental. I think in our culture we have a weird thing where if something is hopeful, we don't think it can be good. We think it's necessarily lowbrow if people aren't all dying and it's not tragedy all the time. And I think that it is very worth stealing from if something is hopeful and, ends happily, which this probably is.
I'm inclined to agree.
Um, so because this is a series, I think we're going to do something a little different. Instead of talking about the whole series, we're just going to talk about one episode, my favorite episode, which is not going to shock anybody who knows the show. It's Masquerade. That is season one, episode four. The songs Poison and Loser Baby come from that. It is, if this is a romance story, and it probably isn't, it's actually Charlie's story, but if it wasn't her story, if it was actually Husk and Angel's story, this is in the enemies to lover stories of these characters, this is the episode where you get the forced proximity beats as well as the emotional alignment beat. My romance people are going crazy right now.
I love this. You have already started out, and this is very true, with what you're going to steal, right? You've already broken it down structurally and which characters interest you. So
Yeah, to the point where when I first had you watching the show, you were surprised that Husk and Angel were not the main
yeah,
characters.
I didn't know when I first came into the show because I've now watched the entire thing, and I also enjoyed it quite a bit. But I came in thinking that the cat and spider were going to be the main characters because really I thought the show only had two, maybe three songs all related to it. Turns out they are, I don't want to call them minor characters, but they are secondary
Yeah,
characters.
they're sinners in the hotel, only one of which is actually checked in, the other is being forced to be there. That Charlie's trying to redeem. But yeah, no. So it's that great emotional alignment and forced proximity beats in the romance novel, which are two of my favorite things when they're executed well, and the fact that they're in the same episode is wonderful.
So how do we get to that episode?
Well, hold on a second, because I also want to say it has my other favorite things in an MM story, which is the grumpy sunshine, the stoic falling in love, a prostitute, and anthropomorphic cat singing and dancing.
Well, that is one of your favorites.
It is one of my
Had
special.
to watch Cats in four different versions, so I know that's one of your favorites. Okay.
Back to Hazbin Hotel. The story so far is Charlie Morningstar, her girlfriend Vaggie, and a demon of incredible power called Alistair have opened a hotel to redeem Sinisters and save them from the divine wrath of angels at the yearly, which is now twice yearly, extermination. Like I said, angels are killing demons, and this is a bad thing. The first sinner who agrees to stay in the hotel is Angel Dust, a spider demon porn star who is staying because crack is expensive.
Fair. It is.
It's one of my favorite lines in the thing. It's possible also that he's trying to get away from his pimp slash boyfriend, the Mothman Valentino, voiced by Blake Roman. We being the fan community, thinks he's a New York gangster who died in the 1920s. But I'm gonna stick with what is actually in the show because there's a lot of canon that the creator has dropped, that the fans have come up with, that the creator has said, yes, I love that, but I just want to talk about what's actually in the show. Um, and Yeah. So anyway, unwillingly staying at the hotel is Dr. Facilier. I mean the cat from Coraline. I mean Spawn. I mean Husk. Uh, Voiced of course by Keith David.
Which is what brought me into the show.
Yeah, well, he is the guy who sings Loser Baby, so in a way, yes. Yeah, no, but Keith David is amazing in this. Husk is an alcoholic, emotionally constipated, magician-coated winged cat who is Alistair's pet and is forced to be the bartender of this hotel. He's also, I think, the only other man in the hotel besides Angel. And since Alistair scares the shit out of Angel, um, Husk is the constant victim of Angel Dust's extremely aggressive flirting. Angel is an absolute menace. I would say it's sexual assault, but they're all demons in hell, so it's good fun.
I will say, of the violence perpetrated on the demons by other demons, uh, Angel's gentle leaning over and raised eyebrows doesn't really hit the top
Yeah,
of the
yeah.
need to be fixed behavior.
But the point of this is, Husk hates being flirted with. Angel flirts with him constantly, and we fucking love it. There are so many compilations on YouTube of just every interaction with the two of those, that we watch because it's really funny. So anyway, and it's just Husk bristling as Angel finds him attractive, and it's the funniest thing to me. Um, I literally have a note in here. Remind people these are side characters.
Yeah.
Um, Charlie Morningstar is the main character. She's there to help people. Your favorite, Serpentius.
Serpentis.
Yeah. Penn is a brilliant inventor, snake guy. You've got the V's who are running around. There's a cannibal town, so a town full of cannibals. She's got her daddy issues, so Lucifer's in here, and oh, of course, heavenly genocide. But what's really important is the cat and spider are about to fall in love.
Right. And the Heavenly Genocide is the season arc.
Yes, yes. If we're following the that kind of where you have a big bad for the whole series and a mini bad for each episode. And I don't know that Hasbin does that. But if it does, the preventing the genocide or surviving it possibly is the major thing. Um,
Certainly
and
season one.
yeah, for season one, maybe.
Okay.
Anyway,
Yeah. I
um,
mean that's a big fight with Adam that everybody
it,
gets involved with.
it is, but they aren't really. They're just trying to survive it. They're not. I mean, they are trying to prevent it, but it's. Anyways, that's not what's happening in this episode. This
That's
episode has
fair.
nothing to do with that.
That's fair.
Charlie's barely in it, which is really funny. So this is at the beginning of Masquerade. Angel Dust is at Show and Tell, and his idea of Show and Tell is showing his friends one of his movies, a porn movie, that he thinks is his best work. And one of the brilliant things in either the script or the way Blake Roman delivers it is his performance is that you can either read this as he's fucking with everybody because he doesn't believe in redemption, and this vulnerability sharing thing is stupid, and that's what he thinks. Or you can read it that he's actually is proud of his performance, and he's so used to sex work that he doesn't realize that the Princess of Hell is on the couch cringing and hiding behind her hands because she doesn't want to see the scene that they're acting out is that Angel Dust was in a interrogation room and about to have the information raped out of him, and that she doesn't want to see that because it's too violent for her, the Princess of
I
Hell.
love how innocent Charlie, the Princess of Hell, is.
Yeah, she's like, I don't know, a Christian musical theater camp nerd who's just realizing that girls are allowed to kiss each other. So the
Yeah.
idea that, you are watching someone have sex on screen is too much. And Serpentius is also like hiding behind his tail, which is funny.
Yeah, no one's enjoying this.
No one, no one. Husk is completely unfazed by this. All he points out is that the script is really bad, that that's not how interrogation scenes work, which in itself is a really kind of creepy thing. Like, he's like, yeah, that interrogation would never work. Like, how do you know that, Husk? So unfazed, it's such a weird show. The two of them fight, and it all centers around this idea of uh, the opposite of fakeness. What is the opposite of fake?
Genuineness.
Genuineness,
And
authenticity.
and just to make sure I got you, this is a fight between uh,
Husk and Angel.
Husk and Angel.
Yeah. Yeah. Basically, Angel starts throwing the flirty thing at him again, but he's a little miffed because this guy is criticizing his porn. And Husk is like, listen, it's fake. The script is bad. And possibly this is Husk doing a little vulnerability sharing himself because he's showing he listens to everyone when they bitch at the bar. But he's also, a little grumpy cat. So he's talking about how I know all of you guys, I know all of your secrets. He lists them off for everybody. And his thing for Angel is that you bitch about making this stuff. You know these scripts are hot garbage. And Angel, I think, loses his temper for the first time in the show at this guy. Yeah, it feels right to me. I have to watch all the compilations again. No,
It's cer- it's
and he loses
cer-
his temper
yeah.
because he's defending it as art and insisting that he is fake because he's an actor. That's what he's supposed to be. He's supposed to be fake. And Husk, being a magician, hates things that you can see as fake. So he sees right through this illusion. And before they can have this big emotional breakthrough that we know is coming, maybe Charlie's therapy actually is working. Yeah, Mothman, Valentino the Pimp calls for an emergency shoot. and and Angel has to leave and go to work.
Which has been happening throughout the series, right? Like
Yes.
Angel has to go into work before he
Yeah.
comes back.
Yeah. Because Valentino owns his soul. So he's basically like, your time is mine, come back. But when Valentino isn't playing with him, he can go and be at the hotel instead of, I guess, paying rent in hell because crack is expensive. Uh, anyways,
But actually, it's funny you say that, right? Because I believe maybe it's later this episode, but I think it's earlier this season. It's made clear Valentino is upset that Angel is living in the hotel.
yes, yes, it's not it's earlier in the show that you when you're first introduced to Valentino, he's in a bad mood because uh Angel isn't there. And but he can't make him like it's an interesting there's such a difference between gosh, we could probably talk about this later on. There's such a difference between Angel's contract with Valentino and Husk's contract with Alistair because Alistair clearly has control over where Husk is at all times. Um, and Valentino has a much looser and the way they express this cinematically and in the animation is really interesting. Like whenever you see Angel's contract, the chains around his neck, it's a real pink, smoky. It is really easy to just kind of floof through. And Husk's chains with Alistair is this bright neon green, and it looks hard. And Angel can dance around it. He can pull back. He can resist it. Husk is immediately dropped by the chains around him, like the weight of them. It's very fun. Nice little visual metaphor happening inside of this animation. Where were we at?
Oh, so he's going to work. He's going to work with Valentino.
Angel has to go to work.
And
Charlie's
Charlie's
upset.
going to make an intelligent decision.
Of course, Charlie only makes intelligent decisions. So Charlie, partly because her girlfriend, the, soldier girl, uh, thinks you should be more aggressive. You should, use your own status as the Princess of Hell. So Charlie decides she's going to use aggressive kindness, to convince Angel's boss to give him more time in the hotel. This does not go well. She sets fire to the set. She sets fire to the set on accident. She doesn't mean to do that. Valentino, who's like, I don't know, maybe 5 or 10 minutes away from uh, poisoning Charlie with his, love potion saliva smoke shit, and turning her into a porn star, is upset when the thing gets on fire. And Valentino's a really interesting villain. He walks this bizarre line, for me anyway, between scary and silly. And I think he does it better than any cartoon villain I've seen. Um, so we can talk about that later on because I just think he's for the show very frightening, and also just ridiculous.
Yeah,
Um,
I do want to come back to it because I think someone in this show does it better.
all right, cool. We'll talk about that later. So Valentino, first of all, puts out the fire, then just beats the shit out of Angel in the dressing room. Physically, psychologically breaks him down, and then reminds him he owns his soul. And you have this really beautiful moment of resistance from Angel where he is broken down. Val is basically telling him, making him say yes to things, right? And it's um, he so Angel agrees Val controls all of his pleasure. He agrees that he submits himself to all of this pain, but he can't agree to send Charlie away. And it's a really great piece of script writing there. And part of it is that I think he knows at this point Val can and might corrupt Charlie. He's already offered her a role in the porn, and that's where he starts. And the Mothman is addictive. But Angel also already knows that everything good in his own life is coming from Charlie and her hotel, so he can't say what Val wants to hear. Um, but anyways, so Angel Dust does send Charlie away by saying she's made everything worse for him, asking her to respect his boundaries, and that they'll talk about it later when he gets back to the hotel. So Charlie leaves crying because she is so fucking innocent as the Princess of Hell, and we love her for that. So then, of course, filming begins. Angel Dust breaks into song about his shitty life. And Q Poison, the reason that Blake Roman personally thanked me on Spotify this year, because I have listened to so much of this song. You're welcome, Blake. Can't wait for the solo album.
You put Blake and everyone near him through multiple colleges.
I hope so. I hope so. If my Spotify list can do that for people, that's a good thing. But anyway, so in this song, you get this. So first off, it's just a banger. It also reveals this duality in Angel Dust's own mind. He's literally disassociating on this porn set. So you have him imagining that he is a pop singer singing this really sexy song in front of the audience, and literally the screens behind him show his reality of getting just sexually assaulted, tied up, and raped by these other guys. Not enjoying it very much. So he's literally he's just imagining that he's empowered by all this humiliation. He's under the control of Valentino's literal poison, which is a love or lust poison that's coming from his saliva. It enters into the smoke. I don't know. It's pink and beautiful. Um, so literally as
Remind me,
he's
because I want to talk about a possible influence of that when we get to the to
sure,
that.
sure. Put a pin on that. So, he's being tied up and assaulted. He's imagining himself as a pop singing diva, reclaiming the sexualization as empowering for himself. So you're watching this and I keep asking myself, I'm like, are there actual parts of this that he enjoys? Is this the lie he needed to tell himself to survive that's become so deeply ingrained? It's now part of his personality, even when he's not around Val, so that he's hypersexual, hyper flirtatious. Um, or is it just who he is and Val has taken advantage of that? So it's so cool. The one thing he cannot hide in this video is his fear of Valentino. And I think that is just a great thing. So you have this layered thing that's asking all these questions, and then you have this absolute truth that he's terrified of his so-called boyfriend. Truly magnificent conversation and song about toxic relationships or drug addiction, and I don't know, the extreme sexualification of pop singers. Um, so anyway, back to the hotel. When he goes back to the hotel, Angel Dust does not see Charlie at first. He sees Husk at first. When he goes to the bar, tries to get a drink, and Husk literally says, "You look like shit," which is the worst thing you can say to Angel Dust. He lives his pretty boy. Um, so he does not like that. He immediately puts the facade back on and just starts his campaign of aggressive flirting with Husk, um, which Husk rejects, because the spider hasn't gotten fucked enough today. Um,
And if I remember correctly, both of them, when you say aggressive, both of them are being more aggressive. Like both Husks sort of counter and Angel,
yeah, yeah.
they're more tense than they usually are.
hmm Yeah, it's been little flirts at a distance, lewd comments, exchanges back and forth. But this is Husk literally telling him to stop pushing his boundaries, and Angel coming back at him with something like, um, what does he actually say to him? It's something like, people pay to fuck me. People are killing to fuck me. Like a lot of people would, love the chance to have angel dust coming onto them. Which Husk is just like, you're fake. And he calls him that again, which throws, Angel into this tantrum, and leaves the hotel, storms out of the hotel. And that's when Charlie comes down to apologize to Angel, and Vaggie sees him leaving. Vaggie and Charlie see him leaving, and the two of them are like, well, that's not what we wanted. Husk force him to come back, and Charlie has learned her lesson. She's like, no, no, we have to respect his boundaries.
For this episode, Charlie has a problem with boundaries.
She will forget again. Yeah. Literally in season 2. Remember our lesson about boundaries? Angel
Yeah.
says to her. But anyway, instead of forcing Husk to bring Angel back to the hotel, and just a sidebar, I have no idea why these two know he has the power to do that, because they don't know the lore that Husk is about to drop on us, conceivably. Anyway, Charlie talks with Husk, talks him into protecting Angel. So she sends him out to just watch over him for the night, and this annoys Husk until he goes to a bar. Husk is less annoyed because he gets to drink. Um, over Husk's shoulder.
Classic cat behavior.
I mean, I do love that. But I love it. I love these guys. They're my boys. Anyway, so at the bar, over Husk's shoulder, you see Angel sitting with a bunch of loan sharks that are actual sharks dressed as gangsters. And I mean, doing cocaine, drinking with them, and you get to see him do this really fun thing where he rewrites the narrative of his fight with Husk. So in the fight with Husky, he's that frantic, desperate energy when he says, people would kill to have angel dust to come onto them. And now he's telling these sharks, these gangsters, that it was a cool-headed win for him. He's like, oh, and then I told this guy, you couldn't fuck me, you couldn't afford me in a million afterlives. I've got better options, right, boys? And Husk doesn't give a shit. He's drinking his beer. He hears this, but he's drinking his whiskey. And he's not interacting. He only begins to interact when one of the loan sharks tries to roofie Angel. And then he steps in, of course, this big manly man, kitty guy, with a
The
badass magic show.
squarest drawn character in the show.
Yeah, yeah. But stops in with a magic show of violence, which thrilled the fuck out of me. I saw this and I'm like, Huska's a badass magic girl. I love this character so much. Anyways, so Angel's really confused by all of this. Completely is like, no, I wanted to get roofied and fucked. What's wrong with you? Why would you stop this from happening? Husk literally drags him out of the bar, which is drags him away from his cocaine and booze, and is forcing him back to the hotel. And it's one of my favorite images in the show because Husk is like half Angel size. And Angel has 6 arms and really long legs, and Husk is literally like reaching up to hold his arms, one set of them behind his back, and marching him to the hotel. And Angel is letting this happen because I think he's just so used to, you know, people tell me what to do. As soon as he like tries to get out of it, he's out of it. But it's just this funny moment. It's just such a ridiculous image. Um, so anyway, they fight. We get the emotional breakthrough that we were promised because Husk pushes him by saying it doesn't matter if he's famous, it doesn't matter if he's hot. He's clearly not happy. He's letting he's self-destructing. He's letting these people, drug and rape him, and it's time for him to drop this act, which completely breaks Angel at this point. He admits the truth. It is not an act. He has to be someone who claims control of his sexuality, his own body. It's the person he wants to be is someone who's in control of that. If he isn't that person, his survival technique will no longer work. He
Yeah,
needs to
which is
do this. Yeah, go ahead.
it's such an interesting double thing, right? Because on one level, it's no, no, this is who I am. There's nothing wrong. But on the other level is, except of course, if I'm not this, I die,
Yeah, yeah,
and
exactly.
it's worse. And it's like and I think that goes into the nature of these acts people put on, which is why the next song you're about to talk about is so important.
Yeah, yeah,
Because these masks we wear have to become who we are, because they're not just sort of, oh, let me convince you of this. These are mindsets we have to engage in with the world
yeah.
in order to not be driven mad by it.
Yeah, and it's also like there's a theory in the fandom that your mindset in the world changed what your demon form is. So who he was in the past life literally became this thing. Like, I joke he's a spider demon. Everybody thinks he's hot. Everybody wants to sleep with Angel, except Husk maybe. Um, but yeah, so he wants to be in control of his sexuality, not just survive Valentino, survive this world. And his escape is more of the same treatment. Unsafe sex that he's choosing, drug use that he's choosing, which allows him to continue the fantasy that this is what he actually does want. And also, I think this is something that Angel Dust hasn't admitted to himself until this moment. If he gets hurt in this process, if he does manage to self-destruct, he won't be useful to Valentino anymore, and he might become free. Yeah. So, Husk is shocked by this vulnerability from Angel and rewards it with a little reveal about himself. We love Husk is constantly dropping lore that we don't know, and there's no explanation to it elsewise. So, and in this one, he reveals his own issues with freedom. He was an overlord who lost a gamble with his soul. Overlord is the same power level as Valentino. So surprisingly powerful demon is the bartender. But he lost this gamble for his soul, and now he's owned by Alistair. And this is something I love about this moment in the show. Angel has no response to this. There is dead silence on his end. He hears all of this. You have this look on his face where he looks at him. He's sympathetic. Clearly, he understands and he wants to say something, But instead of reaching out to this other person with empathy, he retreats into himself, hugs his many little arms around his incredibly long legs, and he's just going to sit in silence. Um, so he's not going to reach out. And of course, we cue Loser Baby. Um,
Now, is Loser Baby a song of some sort?
yeah. It's the song that brought me into this, and you know it. This is basically Husk telling Angel he's a worthless piece of trash, filthy as a dive bar bathroom. My favorite line in it is power bottom at rock bottom. It's a beautiful song. He's telling him he's awful, everything is awful, and that's okay.
And he's not
He's
alone.
what?
And he's not
And
alone.
he's not alone. It's okay, he's not alone. Yeah, that's the important thing. Keith David is perfect in this song. He knows just the right balance between singing and vocally emoting. Like, you know what I mean? Like when you're doing a little laugh and it's not a song, but it's on rhythm and it sounds natural. Like he's really good at that. There's moments of dialogues that are just, just magical stuff.
Keith David is really good at both singing and talk singing
Yes,
and
yes.
blending the two.
And that transition between I'm singing and now I'm voice acting. Like it's we'll talk about it in a future episode. Love in a Bottle. We'll talk about that later. Anyway, but no, this song Loser Baby has this really beautiful moment where Angel Dust goes from speaking and singing in his lower register. Um and accusing himself of being nothing but a coked up dick sucking hoe. And Husk replies to that, baby, that's fine by me. And then you have this, I don't know if it's a key change or if it's just the singer sings in a higher part of his voice, but his register completely changes. He gets brighter, he gets more feminine, and he's more himself. And I don't know if it's just Blake Roman's singing voice. I mean, his singing voice and his voice acting are also just incredible. Anyway, it's a beautiful song about how the world is a shit sandwich and we are not alone. Um, so perfect hurt comfort. They go back to the hotel as buddies. Charlie is there waiting for them, immediately jumps on Angel, begs for forgiveness. It's a very funny scene. He gives it immediately without sarcasm. Frankly, kind of surprised that his opinion even matters to her. Um, that he's something she cares about. And he even thanks her for caring about him. So you have a feeling like, oh, you didn't know anybody could care about you. This is like the first time you realize that your friends actually do like you, which is nice. And then the
And
cat.
without wanting something sexual in return.
Yes, yes, without wanting anything in return except his best interest. Like, Charlie's the princess of hell. She doesn't need any of this shit. You know, she's not even particularly entertained by it. She just seems kind of stressed out all the time. Um,
All the time.
anyways, and then the cat and the spider share a drink, and then they kiss. They don't kiss.
They don't
Um,
kiss.
hopefully in season three. But we're not talking about season two. We're not talking about season two today. I don't want to deal with that mental damage. Um,
Well, we can talk about season two, but like a demon overlord, it will be a price, but it won't be your soul. It'll be a cup of coffee a month,
or a can of Diet Coke.
or a can of Diet Coke,
Yeah.
or a can of Dr. Pepper cream soda, sugar free. Yes, nothing gets you through the day like Dr. Pepper and cream soda. This isn't a commercial,
But
but I'm
wait,
going to
is
make.
it anyway? Please give us money so I can buy some Hazbin Hotel merch. Shall we take a break there?
Yeah, so after the break, we will discuss the tropes, whether we would fence this or break it up into parts. But as they say in the pentagram, chow. I don't think anybody's ever said chow on that show.
I think they say bye. No.
Bye! All right, listen, I know things aren't looking good right now, but you can be a star just like the heroes. Stick with me, Rooster, and I will take you places. And you can find out how to turn into paperback radio. Rose Lemongrass, Silver Age.
Plagiarize. Plagiarize. Let no one else's work evade your eyes. Remember why the good Lord made your eyes, so don't shade your eyes, but only be sure always to call it, please, research.
Hey, loser.
Welcome back. We are now at the part of Plagiarize where we start the non-stop stealing. But we put a couple of pins earlier to discuss, and I think that'll lead us into our mechanisms of theft. So you wrote them down, right, beloved?
I did. Discussing tropes, hope porn, Valentino was a silly villain, and something about smoke.
Yeah. Oh, so let me just do the smoke thing real quick because
Yeah.
I've recently started trying to read Tale of Prince Genji, and yeah, I know. And for those of you at home, Tale of
First
Prince
novel
Genji.
ever written?
What was that?
First novel ever written?
Arguably Japanese, predates Cervantes by a couple of centuries, if not more. Spiraling thing about the Japanese court pre-samurai, and apparently, I'm still looking for a translation.
That isn't just some grad student.
Basically like a decent translation. One of the things they talk about with him is the perfumed air about him. And women literally just sort of fall into his influence for both good and ill. And part of me was curious when I saw Valentino. Obviously, he's not a Prince Genji type. He's too violent. But that perfumed air, I saw that. I was like, maybe it's one of the oldest ideas, and of course, obviously, scent as a sensual element is very, very old. But
the pheromones of insects, and that thing that I don't know they used to do it in movies all the time, where you blow smoke in somebody's face and it's sexy. And his smoke is poisonous, and you are now addicted to it.
Yeah. Well, if you don't have a name.
Fair enough.
So that was a little thing. I don't know if it means anything. It was just because artists steal. Like, this is one of the things we don't talk about with work.
And
go ahead.
Hazbin steals all the time. I feel unapologetically like either Alistair or Husk is Dr. Facilier. Like, there's so much. There's just little nods to each of those, to that performance throughout the show. I mean, there's literally in season 2 a Jessica Rabbit, number with almost the same dress. I mean, it's just perfect. So she's got I would be surprised if the smoke being from Tale of Genji is mostly is wild guess, but maybe, who knows?
Yeah, and that's exactly it. But it is, yeah, I love that Jessica Rabbit moment in season 2. And also animation as an art form, I think, has always been a little bit more open about its blatant theft.
Yeah, I mean,
Bambi, but I was thinking The Man of a Thousand Voices, Mel Blanc.
Oh, yeah.
How many Peter Lorre, Sidney Greenstreet, Humphrey Bogart impressions do voice actors do?
Yeah.
Like, most people don't even realize Homer is at least partially a Walter Cronkite because they're thieves. Artists, we're not alone, people.
No. All artists steal all the time. Valentino is a silly villain. I find him, and I think this might come down to you don't find him as scary as I do.
I do not.
I wonder if this is back to our old debate over what true evil is, because I can't think of anything more frightening than to have somebody really flippant, really stupid, and really violent have complete control over me. So
I will say that I think that scenario is frightening, but so this is where people are judged by their enemies. Valentino is a carnivore, is a scavenger, right? I've other than when he's working with his 2 bestest buddies, he's never capable of dealing with anybody of equivalent strength, at least as it seems to me.
Right.
He's obsequious, and I love this character thing about him, right? But if he thinks you're more powerful, he's almost licking your boot. And
Yeah, because you and I read the scene with Charlie in Masquerade very differently because
yes,
I
yes,
read it as he's playing the nice guy. He's trying to get her. Oh, I'm friendly and fun, and you're going to work with me, right, lady? I'm going to make you a star. Like I read it as he's playing nice and being friendly with her because he's about to attack her, and you read that as she's more powerful than me. I'm going to be
well, and I
intrigued.
don't just read it as more powerful. We see what Charlie's capable of doing at the end of the season.
That's
She
true.
is
I mean,
more powerful.
obviously, she is more powerful. She's the
Yeah,
devil's
he
daughter.
has he has no authority. All he can do, and this is why he's a terrible person, is take it out on Angel.
Right.
And that's and so I don't think he's a bad villain,
Yeah,
but
no.
no, I and you said he does that balance
Yeah,
between
the silly to scary thing, because
that's Alistair.
Alistair.
Alistair can be completely ridiculous and genuinely disturbingly frightening. So I don't think Valentina is even the best model of that in this show.
Wow. Okay. Okay.
Um, Now, Valentino could be, I've said before, and I'll say again, I think there are few kinds of people on this planet worse than Pips.
Yeah.
However, partially because there's physically very little, because it's a cartoon and it's got a kind of, it's not for kids, but it's got a kiddish vibe, right?
Yeah.
Nothing matters unless it does.
It's one of those because the genre is not grim dark.
Yes.
None of his actions read as grim dark.
Which is why I thought it was funny that this is called a dark comedy.
Yeah, that's something else we want to talk about. Yeah, apparently dark comedy. It's listed on Amazon as a dark comedy, and I wonder if this is just you and I have tastes that skew towards darkness, possibly.
That's true. That for us, like other people might think this is dark. For us, like no, this is literally a cheer me up kind of thing.
Yeah, no, this is something I watch because I think it's funny and it brings me comfort. And I think other people would watch this and be like, wait a minute, you watch a show about people in hell, like literally brains get in her eyes, and that's a joke. Like, that's a funny joke. That's dark. So
Yeah, but there's no, and this is one of my there's no consequences to that. Nobody, if they're not a character, means anything.
yeah. Yeah.
And
But
so,
I mean, do they? I mean, if you have a regular dark comedy like Death of Stalin is a dark comedy, someone who isn't a
look at
character. What?
yeah, I think that's a great example. So let's look at Death of Stalin. So the terror on the face of the doctors as they're being brought in. These are, and it's funny, right? So you have this 80-year-old man who sees the guards coming and he just speaks and they grab him and he just, I'll name names, right?
Right, you're right. Yeah, yeah. And he matters. And he matters instantly.
And then,
Versus like the woman that they throw to the shark to eat, and that's not, you know.
but nothing else in the world indicates that this is going to return, that because it's
But
silly.
these are people with lives that we care about because they are demons in hell, and also we don't know if death is permanent here. Like that has not been.
I feel it must.
I feel it must be too,
for there to
but
be any stakes, but who knows? But this is not anything against this, but it's like when I think dark comedy, I think Doctor Strangelove.
yeah, which is too dark for me because this for me, like I wouldn't call this a dark comedy just because it's so clearly cozy. Like
Yes, that's the other thing. I'm supposed to feel good at the end of this.
Yeah, I mean, and you do feel good. Like there are songs that are you feel like, yay, we're together in this. We're gonna. It's a happy day in hell. You know.
Even the bad guy songs, you're sort of like going around, yeah, you can do this. You can do this.
Brighter from season 2 is legitimately a pump me up song. Like
Gravity.
Gravity's just a badass song. Like we know that. If you like heavy metal, you'll like season 2, Gravity. But yeah. But I just want to talk about like it's a delightful show. It is funny, but it's one of those where I feel there's a lot of people defending who are like, oh, it doesn't pull punches. I'm like, yeah, it does. Like
Yes, no, it pulls a ton of punches.
Yeah, partly because we don't see anyone in the hotel die or be horribly mangled or disappear from
I
all the
would
demons.
I would argue the biggest punch it pulls, and not everything has to do this. So it's one of these things which is like part of the reason we like this is if you want to tell a different story, you can tell a different story. Take
Mhm.
the elements you like. But for it to not pull punches, something would have to be a main character's fault based on something other than miscommunication
Yeah,
or I was trying to do the right thing.
yeah,
And it would
which is what gives it that kind of Disney Hallmark vibe because Charlie is genuinely a perfect character who fails constantly because she's in hell and everyone is terrible. So she hopes the best of all people and they disappoint her. They let her down without even meaning to. And uh, you have this. I'm going to pause because I think we might be able to hear the.
I had muted myself hoping we wouldn't be able to.
I'm also by a window.
Yeah,
So
no.
when
So
did it start?
we'll cut that one. But so you were saying
Yeah, it's got that Hallmark Disney quality where the characters are perfect. They're not making any mistakes that aren't miscommunications or
deeply someone else's fault.
yeah, deeply someone else's fault or I'm trying my best and the world is not letting it happen. I got unlucky, and I think that's one of the things that makes it sort of feel it gives it that feel good quality. Things are going to end up okay for our main guys. They sort of are protected because even when they die, they're hopefully going to be redeemed and go to heaven. Like
Yes. And it's the not only the vibe of the show, but the soul of the show is listen, you're not as bad as you think you are.
yeah,
And
and you're not alone in being bad.
And you're not alone in this. And the audience to this are generally not people who have committed the kinds of sins that would send you to hell, right? But they are the kinds of people, because everybody is, who maybe engage in self-destructive behavior,
Yeah.
who cannot keep themselves focused. It's got that kind of mentality.
Yeah, and I cannot express to you how much this would have been a life changer for a gay Christian. Like who's into theater, musical theater. Like, if you've lived your life being told you're going to go to hell for being queer, and then you see the show that has all of these queer characters in hell who are doing good things and being redeemed, you begin to realize, oh, it's that I didn't love myself enough to go to heaven. Like, there's queer people in heaven too. It's because I let this system destroy me and I chose these self-destructive behaviors. Like, I think the
Unless they don't like the character, in which case it is entirely their fault and they should have learned better.
I mean, I don't know. I think we're going to redeem Alistair, man.
We may redeem Alistair, but it'll end up not. I shouldn't say that. We will see where it goes. But
good call.
The villains we have met, who are villains like the V's, Adam, have no redeemable qualities as far as I can tell.
Yeah,
and
I mean, I just to speculate, I think that Vox is going to be redeemed because he literally leans over Charlie and says, "Do you think I could be redeemed?" So
she says yes.
Yeah, but that's a season 2 thing. But yeah, no, yeah, just. But the thing I wanted to talk about is, this is a hopeful thing. This is a piece of media that makes you feel good. It's the opposite of what Larry David said about Seinfeld, no laughing and learning. This is all laughing and no hugging, no learning.
No hugging, no learning. No hugging, no learning.
Yeah. This is a show that has a lot of hugging and a lot of learning.
Well, and I would argue Larry David, and part of what makes Larry David brilliant is Larry David is unusual. This follows most sitcoms. Like,
Yes.
it's more violent, it's more sexual, but it is not different in story. I mean, if you look at Friends, How I Met Your Mother, The Office, the moral of the story is trust your friends, found family, you're not as bad as you think you are, have a great day. But what makes it unique is it is wild and it's colorful and it's rocking.
Oh, fantastic art style too. But I think that there's such a, and I was struggling to phrase this earlier. There's such a bias in I don't know, among critics, among reviewers, against things that end well,
Yes.
against the cozy, against the romance, against things that have a happily ever after. Like, this is going to. I mean, there's going to be apparently 5 to 6 seasons of this. I know it's going to end happily, like, because it would be a real letdown for its audience if it didn't, and that doesn't mean it's not good. You know.
I agree. I agree. I think the tendency. I think two things go on. One is people assume cynicism is more realistic than optimism, and which I think is just wrong a good chunk of the time. Sarcasm as a world philosophy, I think, is a ridiculous.
Sarcasm is a world philosophy. Cynicism is depth.
Which means things that I consider, and this is a positive podcast, so I won't mention them, but things I consider relatively mediocre get praised because they're cynical.
They're dark.
And I don't think this show is flawless, but I think it is equally good as many other equivalent material. I'm trying to think of a
I mean, it's basic. It's as good as anything I've seen on Nickelodeon, but made with much less budget and much fewer people.
Oh yes, yeah. No, but I was going to say I think it's as good as, I'm trying to think of a more grimdark thing. You know what? I'll go with it. Considering how it ended, I think it's as good as Game of Thrones. I mean, it's much shorter. Its ambitions aren't. But
no.
In terms of what it's trying to accomplish versus what it's trying to accomplish so far.
Yeah, no, and I will also say I enjoy it more than I've never rewatched Game of Thrones. I've rewatched this like 3 times now, and I don't know how much of that is I'm a queer musical theater nerd who was raised Christian.
I was talking about is what made, and I don't want to talk too much about a thing we're not talking about, but I always try to judge something by what is it trying to accomplish, right?
Yeah.
So Game of Thrones did a lot of good stuff, right? Because I watched Rome first, hipster moment. I watched Rome first. I was already aware of that kind of sensibility. However, it loses sort of, I think, some of the political stuff. The show got progressively less complex, I think, as it went along. Versus this, which starts much simpler and is gradually building complexity. I don't think it's ever going to go, oh, who's the good guy, who's the bad guy, I don't know. But that's not its goal.
Yeah. Who knows? I have high hopes for season 3.
But this is a hot take. I'm not even sure I would defend it, but it's the first thing that came to me.
Oh, man. Tropes.
Which ones?
All of them. It's a very tropey episode, very tropey show, and I love it.
It's a very tropey show, very tropey episode, and you love these tropes.
I love these tropes. I love enemies to lovers. I love Grumpy Sunshine. I especially love Grumpy Sunshine when the sunshine is hiding the darkness, which I really feel Angel Dust is doing in this. And the grumpy is like, I mean, it's so funny to say, he has nothing really to be grumpy about. He's a demon in fucking hell.
Who also has, so I actually wouldn't say that at all. I think anybody who's gone through AA now, first thing anybody will tell you is you don't date people in AA. You stay away. None of this is good. I'm going for a particular thing. But Husky's got serious addiction issues of his own. He's been there.
Yes.
Like it's not a he's got nothing to be grumpy about. First, demon in hell. Second, someone who lost his power. Third,
lost his soul to keep his power.
Yeah. Third, gambler.
Yeah.
And fourth, he's an alcoholic.
He's an alcoholic. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, even in that episode, we see him drink a whole bottle of whiskey. Like.
Yeah, he doesn't get help for that. Just to be clear, like that's not a thing.
He's not going to AA meetings in hell.
No.
I mean, even in when he is like pretending to be the therapist in season 2. He's got a bottle of whiskey with him. Like, it's such a funny. I love the show. So you got, Grumpy v. Sunshine, where the sunshine is not holding it together, and I love that. I love those emotional breakthrough moments. I really think it is interesting to have the Husk as a character hating things that are inauthentic, hating fake behavior, which is why he likes Charlie so much. That woman cannot lie to save her life, literally. And so you get a feeling of like why he ends up liking her. But he's also a guy who completely shuns any responsibility. So that's another fun like trope being flung around. Like they're really, each of these characters is so many different personality types all put in together, which is a really interesting. Because you have other people who are like, oh, he's got really big grandpa energy, and I'm like, because he's grumpy and he listens to people, which is also bartender energy, which is also.
It's also because the show does an interesting thing with time aesthetics, right? So you have people who are clearly sort of representatives of a style of a decade. So Alistair's the 20s. He's sort of the anywhere in Vegas from the 50s to the 70s.
Yeah. He's supposed to have been a man who died in his 70s in Las Vegas, I think. I can't remember if that's canon or if that's fanon. That became canon?
Well, I have not seen anything in regards in the show because
it's not in the show. It's because there's such a because VivziePop is so engaging with her community. She will drop lore in social media, in drawings and animations, and talking about things that isn't actually in the show, but absolutely is canon for her. Like I think one of them is that Angels is a gangster who died in the 1920s. I think is canon, and you sort of see it in the show because that's how he talks.
And he uses a Tommy gun.
He uses the Tommy gun that he's hiding on him at all times in his secret set of arms, which I fucking love. I also love, that's another trope I love, the really tough pretty boy, who Angel absolutely is. I was so happy when we watched this and you were like, oh yeah, Angel's, being all tough. And I'm like, he's tough.
Well, and which is great because from the 20s, you have a whole series of really dangerous bank robbers who literally have the name Pretty Boy. I can think of Pretty Boy Floyd off the top of my head.
Babyface somebody?
Babyface Nelson. Like, this idea. And if you've ever seen, and I show people an unusual amount, young Bugsy Siegel. Young movie star looking Bugs Benjamin Siegel.
Mm-hmm.
He's just like a startlingly handsome man.
Yeah. And Bugs, which at the time meant crazy and bad-tempered.
Yes, Bugs, for those of you who know, to go Bugs is to fly into a rage. So Bugs Bunny is go crazy, right? It could be go crazy. By the way, Bugsy Siegel also hated the nickname. Nobody called him that to his face.
Oh, I love that.
He went by Benny. He went by Benny.
Well, good to know if I ever time travel back to Bugsy Siegel.
Or he comes back.
Anyway, or we meet him in hell, where clearly we're all going.
Maybe Angel's Bugsy.
That would be fun.
Relationships, sexual relationships, constantly trying to prove himself to a more strapping older gentleman. I'm just making, like, Bugsy Siegel was younger than Meyer Lansky and Lucky Luciano. Lane's just in a factoid dropping.
Like, I mean, honestly, all I knew about Bugsy Siegel is the thing you told me about how he was in Nazi fascist Italy?
No, it's Italy, and because I plan on using that in a story of mine, that's a secret. Because you artists will steal. You'll steal.
Speaking of stealing, would you adapt this straight? Would you fence it, or would you chop it up for parts?
That's a great question. So obviously, it's not in the public domain, being 10 seconds old.
Yeah, literally released earlier this year, last year.
So I love the conceit. So I love a bunch of things about it. So if I were to try to adapt it, right, which is to take a very similar premise, I could see doing it with the Fae, right?
Yes.
Someone has created a place and is basically buying people who have made deals with other Fae and are trying to return them home, but they've got to learn what it means to be human. Right. I think that's the closest you could do to something like that.
I actually really like
the deals and this, and have humans enter the Fey realm every once in a while with iron, right? Which would do serious
yeah,
damage.
trying to do an extermination. Yeah, yeah. And you can't just be like, no, I'm one of you, let me go home because you're a fucking spider.
Yeah. And I think you could keep a lot of the dynamics, right? So you could have a child of one of the eldest Fae who's doing this. She could be in love with a human who's hiding the fact. It's an angel in the show, would be a human there.
Vaggie, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, you said angel, and I was like, what?
She's an angel.
Yeah, she is. Spoiler alert. No.
Spoilers after we've just literally reviewed this entire thing.
So many, everything's a spoiler.
Yeah, but in the Fae equivalent, right, it's humans coming in, so that would be a human.
Yeah, Vaggie would be a human that, is hiding, that she's human. Yeah. That's fun.
And then you would have, okay, people are making deals with this young person, hoping to get to the father, and you could even keep it ridiculous, right? Because I think the Fae would lend itself to it. So if I wanted to be obnoxious, Steele, but I would probably make it more serious, just because my style
I was
quite that fun.
Literally, I was like, I'm already fencing parts of this. Like, I've already got 2 ideas that start as pure Huskerdust fan fiction.
So let's jump to
because I mean, if the idea is we're just adopting similar premises, it's funny to say because it can't be similar characters because they're so tropey. Like, I'm obviously not having a spider and a cat demon falling in love. That would be really on the nose, and that would be adapting immediately. But it's like,
I think there we might fall under the dreaded derivative. Literally, we could be sued if.
Although, honestly, the cool thing, there's a whole fan community that is adapting stuff from this. Sure. Like, there's a couple of people out there who are, and I'm not going to say their names in case they get in trouble. I don't fucking know. I also don't know their names. But who are writing songs as if they're in this story, as if they're part of this. Like, there's one that's Alistair's deal. There's one that's called Use Me Up, that's Angel's Offer. Yeah. I think those are both Paranoid DJ. But, there's someone else who did a...
Didn't take you long to sell that person down the river.
There's another one called Project One. That's a one-piece band, I assume, because Zorro's on their thing. But they have an extension of one of the songs from season 2, which has just some really good lyrics in it. So they're literally, here's the song, I'm adding more to it. So that's how you fence this whole cloth, I guess. I don't write music. I don't do that. I just, make fan fiction that I then adapt.
Because I find that world interesting, but that is not what we do.
No, we
title of our work aside, we actually take the cores of these ideas and tend to go different
kind of twist them. Yeah, we chop a lot. So I would chop this. And literally have already done that. Like, I'm currently writing a motorcycle club romance that is, I almost named the character Husk.
It's a good name.
It's a great name. It's a great name for a biker.
Yes.
But he has a different name now. And it's in a relationship with a prostitute and trying to deal with these intimacy issues.
Side note, one of the weirder X-Men characters.
Husk?
Oh. He has extra skin. They use as a weapon. Yep.
I see why he's one of the... All right, cool. I also have another idea of this, which is vampires and werewolves, that I entered into a contest recently, so there's that. So I'm already taking these tropes and this dynamic and just plugging into other worlds.
But let's go into that for a second, and then I'll come in with my chop. For you, and that's why you picked this episode. It's why it's been. You love this particular dynamic, the Husk and Angel.
Yes.
Dynamic. So for you, because you talk about taking it whole cloth, but you're actually not. This is an important story, but it's not the main character.
Yeah, no, not the main character. No, but the thing I thought it was really fresh to have someone who is obviously the bottom in the relationship being so sexually aggressive, And also someone who has all of this um, emotional intimacy baggage, like, and also the really interesting thing of Husk, who does not think he is worthy of love at all, and assumes that, okay, this guy's hitting on me because he has an ulterior motive. He can't possibly actually want me, or later on, I'm sure, have feelings for me. Like, and that's fucking catnip to me. Um, I don't think there's a spider equivalent of catnip, like, but yeah.
I don't either.
Yeah. Yeah. And also just the fan art of the two of them is so wonderful. Like,
So
I'm a nerd. I have a
for
problem.
me, I will actually say, if I were to take little elements from it, it would be Serpentis.
You'd be Serpentis.
Serpentis. I just love snakes. I also love mad scientists of a Victorian bent. Like, it's so funny. Every snake demon I've created, and I have more than 2, which is more than I think most people have.
If you ain't a nickel, it'd be more than 10 cents.
And it's great because I love Serpentis. He's vitally important as a plot device, but he never got to do as much as I wanted him to do. And I love the Cherry Bomb him relationship. Cherry Bomb is another evil scientist, and they were constantly attacking each other.
Yeah.
And if I were to go the romance route that you do, that's the one I would look at.
I mean, so many of these romances would just be great taken more seriously. Like, the demon princess of hell dating a fallen angel who literally was an exorcist, one of the people killing her people.
Yes.
Like, that is an intense relationship that soft characters aren't really giving the intensity to, but
and it does have certain things, but that's what makes this show, right?
Yeah.
And
I mean, honestly, one thing I realized as I'm chopping it, I'm also making it a lot more serious. The Valentinos in mine are fucking scary.
yes,
they are the kind of people who would attack Charlie. Oh, she's stronger than me, I must have her.
the real life Valentinos. So it's so funny. So talking about the various kinds of things of the 3 V's,
Yeah.
the real life Valentino in our world are genuinely frightening people, right? I get the overall thing with the TV presenter and misinformation or the social media thing, but the kinds of people who do drug addict.
I'm going to get you addicted to this thing so that I can sell your body.
Yeah. And make you say thank you.
Yes. Oh my God. Yeah.
So let us move on to our prompts. Hey, time for the prompts. So since this was yours, I start us off, right? But if you want to hear the full collection of prompts, what should they do, my love?
Subscribe.
Pay
us $5 a month to get me a cup of coffee and Lane some soda, and then I can buy some Hazbin merch.
Yep. And what soda will I drink? How about Dr. Pepper?
Diet Dr. Pepper.
I love Dr. Pepper. I'd accept a sponsorship from Dr. Pepper.
I thought we were going to go for...
Don't tell anyone that's an actual thing. Secret!
What are your prompts, Lane?
So, first one, and when I told Lisa this one earlier, she looked at me like I was crazy because she.
Oh, this one, you're nuts, yeah. I had no idea how you got to there from Hazbin, but go ahead.
So, a beautiful woman suffers from a strange ailment. What may it be, you ask? Well, some days she wakes up as a conservative mother of 3, happily married, who can heal the worthy. But on others, she awakens as a seductive mistress who purposely goes after the married and others in long-term relationships. Both versions, however, are killers. So, And the way I got there was one of the things I like about Angel is Angel has this dichotomy, right? And whenever you talk about that, I was like, oh, sort of Madonna whorish. And then I was like, ooh, what if I kept the violence, did the split, and then eventually, not obviously knowing where the story goes, it's just a prompt, I would sort of link those two elements are closer than they appear when people are driven to these kind of facile versions, these facades of themselves. It's often hiding the same kind of inner world. So that was the idea.
I don't know what that has anything to do with my boys, my sweet boys,
You sweet, sweet boys.
my sweet human boys. Anyway, so my first prompt is: you're a powerful demon in hell who finds entertainment in slaughter and delights in other people's failure. One of the many souls you own, one that possibly is your closest friend, they have fallen in love. What happens next?
That speaks to my life, so it's a little too close to me. So I hope someone else takes that prompt.
What's your second one?
So this one is more direct. Like this one is more direct from the show. A stage magician, who I'm just calling Merlin for the moment, murders a pimp by having him be the volunteer in the I'm cutting them in half trick.
Oh, that is cool.
Real. And he's doing this in front of the full audience, all for the love of Esmeralda, who's the local prostitute and abused by the pimp. I want to do it as a stage play, like a short one act. The guy's there. He's doing other tricks as the pimp is maybe groggy in place the entire time.
Oh, I love that. I love that. You should do that. My next one is a prostitute, because I love my prostitutes. Falls in love with an absolute green flag, but struggles with intimacy after so much sexual abuse. And I want everyone to write this story in every world, in every way. And then if there's a lot of angst and sex, send it to me.
You're not allowed to steal our fans' ideas, babe.
And I just want to read them.
Uh-huh. All right. This one is based on the opening of the episode. So it's a family that prides itself on being supportive, right? This is we go see our kids every game, all that stuff. A very supportive family tries to muster that enthusiasm as their son wins Best New Dick at that year's porn awards. I don't know if that's a category. I would have to do a little research, but I love this. So it's like this Midwestern family trying to be happy about it.
Oh, I love that. I love that so much. I love that so much. God, that could be funny. That I visualize that as a Miss Sunshine kind of contest kind of thing. Like they also have to take him out there.
Oh yeah, they have to drive him out. Oh yeah, I could do all sorts of things like everybody who meets the father is curious if that's where he gets it from. So all these stars are trying to see what's happening.
Yeah, they're trying to anytime he gets up to go to the bathroom, half the other men at the table rush in the back.
Yeah.
So he's got to try to find hiding places to pee. I love the idea that as they're doing this kind of road trip, people recognize the son, and he's got to be he's a young college kid, so they think of him as their little baby boy.
Yes,
and they're oh my God, I've jerked off to all of your stuff.
And he's got a stepsister, and there's no sexual chemistry between them, but it's but she's constantly making fun of that.
I love it.
Yeah, love it. This could be a funny kind of trip movie. Anyway.
I love it. I love it. Let's find a young porn star and have him make this. It'd be a great porn too.
You're up.
Oh yeah, sorry. We're on 3, right?
Yeah.
Oh, this is less prompt, more challenge. Challenge yourself to write a villain who is both comedic and scary. So someone who can go between the two, can be the butt of the jokes, but is also really frightening. And it's harder than you think to do it right.
It is. It really is. Oh, when I was talking about people who did that, I never mentioned Mark Hamill's Joker.
Oh, yeah.
because he can do both in the same performance. Sometimes he leans more scary, sometimes he leans more funny. But yeah, he's created an ability to do that. But yeah, it is tough.
Yeah. Well, and one of the things that really helps is the Joker is legitimately funny sometimes in Mark Hamill's. Like, but
Yes, in Mark Hamill's.
I'm more thinking like the fact that Val is pathetic. Valentino is a complete simp for the other members of the polycule, and of the V's, and just useless. He got a really good power, and it makes him scary when he's being scary, but most of the time,
Well, that's what I love about Mark Hamill's Joker, which is why I picked him.
he's the butt of jokes.
Mark Hamill's Joker is often pathetic, right? There's times he's begging. There's right. It's now he's been doing that role for so long, and each version of it can be very different. So he has more psychopathic ones. But I'm thinking in the one Joker episode, the first appearance of Harley Quinn, for you Quinophiles out there, is an episode which is basically about some random dude who gets cut off by the Joker in traffic, and he starts attempting road rage. The Joker spots him, goes down, and basically says, "I want you to do something for me at some point." And years go by, Joker goes in his favor, but the Joker at the end of the episode, spoiler alert, gets trapped by this dude, this regular bloke, who thinks he's going to blow them all up, and the Joker starts begging, and it's really funny.
All right.
And then, of course, the great line, even I'm not crazy enough to mess with the IRS, right? So
I love that. Yeah. No, but I mean the whole thing I have with the villain who's silly and scary, it comes from it's not Disney, I think. Anastasia.
yeah, it's not. I think they bought it, but you're right.
Yeah, I don't know, but the animation with Rasputin, who is really scary, but it completely undercut the stakes for me because his nose was falling off, he's tripping on, he was ridiculous and silly, and I did not have that with Val. Which I think is something interesting that they managed to pull off. But anyway, so the challenge, the prompt is write a villain who's pulling off silly and scary.
Yes.
And that's hard.
All right. Number 4. A vicious pimp, Val, has managed to bind a succubi to his will. As long as he doesn't sleep with her, get seduced by her, he'll continue to grow more powerful, but his willpower is collapsing.
Oh, that's a good one. I like that one a lot. Because it could be that, you don't know how long he's had the succubi. It could be that, it could be years before his...
Oh, you could do all sorts of things, right? Because then you run into that Hannibal Lecter style, am I your prisoner or am I playing with you kind of vibe.
Oh, love that. Love that. My number 4 is tell the story of a... Is that you or me beeping?
I can't hear it.
Okay.
Are you running out of juice?
No. I think it was my Facebook. I'm sorry. My number 4 is tell the story of a hellbound, grizzled old bartender that learns the secrets of everyone around him. How does he gain their trust? What is he going to do with their secrets? What did he do that we know he's hellbound?
I like that. Yeah. I like that. Bartenders get a rough break in our stories.
Yeah, well, yeah.
So this one I think is almost as much an adaptation, a fencing. I think that's what we call it. I think this one is as much a fencing as any of my prompts. My last one is a bodyguard is sent out to protect a sulking teen boy, but is shocked by the number of dangerous people trying to kill them and how well the 17-year-old dance captain fights back.
I love that you had to go into a British accent to do that.
Well, the moment I said shocked, I jumped into Casablanca. Shocked, absolutely shocked to find gambling in this establishment.
You're winning, sir.
Thank you. So I couldn't help myself after that point.
I love that. Along the same lines of adoring that dynamic, take that love story and set it in another world. Dibs on motorcycle clubs.
Yep. Yeah, you've already started that. All right. So we've got our prompts. We broke down the show. We went over tropes today.
Yes.
If this is the kind of entertainment people long for, what should they do?
Like, subscribe, follow, share, send us their firstborn.
I'm okay on that last one. You know what? Tell you what, for this month only, you can forego the firstborn and instead just sign us up to pay for yet another Dr. Pepper.
Coffee. Oh, they should sell us their souls.
Darn it. Oh, we already made the deal.
We were just there. Oh, well, we'll try again next time.
Bye.
Bye.